Learn didgeridoo from Australian Aboriginals, or discover the cancer cure, or even finish a simple backyard re-terraformation, or develop the Schwarzenegger body, the great or even mediocre American novel. We will not be able to read all the books we want. We will not watch all the classic movies we aspire. We will not make all that money to share with family, to contribute to cherished causes, or even to just hoard. We must concede things are not going to be seen. Things are not going to be done. The perfection once envisioned in dreams from an optimistic youth will remain unactualized. There is just not enough time to learn the skills, never mind to master them. Stoic Seneca has said, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." Prioritizing and multitasking is enough. Capability does not match aspiration, no matter what propaganda our parents fed into malleable minds and developing psyches. It is not their fault, and it's difficult to admit it's not our fault either. Recognition is the big step, but it is not wisdom in of itself. The wisdom is what to do with this revelation, this recognition that so much of our lives were wasted. What do we do now? I don't know how many big festivals you folks have seen. I know a number of you have, because that's how I met you guys. Got interviewed 10, 15, 20 years, almost 20 years past. But honestly, having done one myself, it's a lot of freaking work, and I think we really should give yet another hand. Because this shit is hard to pull together. And, thank you. This last one, I call Xanadu's talismans. I always start my day looking out the kitchen window while always necessary coffee brews. The gaze is at my large yard and tiny patio, searching for clues because inevitably there'll be a new frivolous item left on the unkempt lawn, on the patio table or rusting chair, or snuck under an untrimmed bush, or laying on a weedy flower bed. Much of the time it is a ball, small but sometimes large, white or blue or pink, faded by a long forgotten sun. Once it was a Barbie doll, sitting on a chair like it was waiting for a waiter to bring afternoon tea. Another time there was a couple of toy soldiers scattered around the patio drain, bivouacked before a siege, or maybe just lying about in blissful relief from surviving an impossible onslaught like a recent summer storm. For the first few days, I keep each of these items right where I first saw them. Maybe the owners will return to collect them. Who these owners are, I have no idea. It has been months since neighbors with children were around, moved away with the frequent shifting winds of misfortune. A longtime neighbor, an old man much younger than I, left suddenly after living there for a few decades. He took his visiting grandchildren with them. I am left without the joyous laughter of little people playing, left only with the silence of my own curmudgeonry. After those few days, I moved the pieces to a box in the garage, just in case their masters come back. Occasionally as I passed, I pick them up one by one and gaze in wonder, the wonder if tears were shed for their loss. On another morning of my coffee routine, through the window, I saw a deer, a young doe with dark, inquisitive eyes, nosing a ball around on the patio before nibbling on hostas that grow by the garage. That got me thinking that maybe critters bring the things to my yard, as if the yard was a safe place, like a bank or a church, sacred ground. I've always visited. I once had a rabbit stretch out and nap in the pergola's shade before the mischievous Cleveland weather blew it to bits. Groundhogs would come in early spring to call Phil a liar. For years, a black and white cat has trotted through, so feral it refuses food left out even in winter. The aforementioned deer and probably its immediate ancestors, I've seen dogs singly and in 3 or 4 member packs come by to sniff a bit and sometimes frolic around. Some of the balls found have tooth marks of canine delight on them. Perhaps they belong to them. In a corner of the garden, a stone Buddha statue watches all these going-ons through half-closed meditative eyes. They seem to want me to believe that at least some of these speculations are true. That yes, these toys, things of joy and delight, belong to the shadow children, belong to urban wildlife, belong to garden gnomes, to leprechauns and wood nymphs and fairies and reincarnated spirits of past and future. They belong to returning souls and future visiting entities, to ghosts, to children not yet born, to anybody that yearns to have some fun and unattached joy, to anybody that desires the blissful freedom of just being here. Here, in this unexpected, unprepared oasis, miraculous in my neglected backyard, this dishevelry, this honest wildness and undiscovered playfulness welcomes all to participate, even me. A cup of morning coffee is optional. Thank you.
Steve, can I tell you a secret? I'm happy to know you. That was lovely. What a lovely journey into a whole lifetime. I love that. Steve Goldberg, by his book. This has been a lovely first set. I have loved all of these, which is why I don't say this to denigrate anyone else, but Juliet Cook's my favorite of all time. So Juliet Cook doesn't fit inside an easy bake oven and rarely cooks. She would rather read and write poetry. She is the founder and maintainer of Blood Pudding Press, a micropress in Northeast Ohio. She is the queen of the Goths who, after eating a pomegranate in 2008, was bound to Hades and comes out every year at around Halloween to bring all of the cool, gothy darkness with her back into the poetry world. I am so excited to welcome Juliet Cook.
So I've had to pee for quite a while too, but I didn't want to miss anyone, so hopefully I don't wet my pants or something here. Also too, I appreciate being able to participate in this reading. I've enjoyed all the other readers so far, and I have books if anyone wants any, and other than that, I'm just going to read my poems. This one's in my book, Revolting. It's called Flushing Me Down the Toilet. The mold specialist sneaks inside my home and inspects my toilets. She wants me to mold myself into her tiny bed or underneath her. In her mind, there's not enough space unless everything gets stored inside one box and shoved inside one closet. She wants to replace my poetry with baby diapers to cover up most of the shit that spews out of my dirty words. The stuff that is not associated with food preparation shouldn't be on my counter. Meat should not be rare. Words should not be bloody. Everything should be well done or hidden away. The stuff that might interfere with a vacuum cleaner shouldn't be on my floor. I shouldn't be on my own floor either, unless I'm about to have a seizure, in which case I should quickly crawl under the bed to hide my ugly jerks and moans and drools. Nobody else should be in my bed unless she approves of their fingers or cuts them off, or can speak for them after scraping the dust and debris out of their unclean mouths I can't drive, so nobody else's car should be in my garage. Expired. Oh, this one I wrote because I was solicited to write some poetry for like a bird anthology, and I don't usually have too many birds in my poems, and I have a hard time putting them in there.
Birds are nice.
They are, but I just don't have that many in my poems. So this one's called Expired. A giant pelican mouth dives towards me as if I am a small fish to be swallowed. Then it gags and spits me out like I'm not even worth consuming. I am stuck in a cruel lullaby of curdled milk, trying to gurgle its way into another space in which I do not belong. My brain is a difficult to digest abyss, trapped inside a skeleton mouth, broken wings inadvertently posing for the next predator. I can't fly away, I can't swim. The best I can do is dive into myself. Fragmentation. The robots break dance to commemorate human extinction, supplant human language with AI-generated words. New history of new birthing process. Hearse parked outside Adult Mart. Robots making out with loitering dead human corpse heads until they break down into past severed ties. I can't read your robot mind and you replaced mine. Bug-bot tools for eyes. Insects crawling out of my mouth. Words no longer my own. I try to be real, but why? So many people don't seem to care what's really real or not. So many people don't seem to care how others really feel or why. My mind is my own warped confessional booth, filled with past secrets and self-doubt and lack of disclosing everything. Pretending I don't care what others think about me. I don't pray. I don't always believe in myself or much of anything else, or anyone else's sincerity. I think this current world is brimming with lies, half-truths, false prophets, propaganda, other forms of fakery. I try less often than I used to. What is the point when so many seem to be hooked into scrolling around on AI-generated screens that are spying on us while attempting to inform us of what's important, fake news? Maybe I'm paranoid, or maybe I'm exaggerating before I start to dumb myself down too. Maybe we're all taking part in a long strand of sticky orange circus peanuts, artificially flavored until we expire. Deteriorating words. Old paint peeling from the ceiling and landing on the floor. An outdated song you don't like keeps playing inside your head on repeat, whether you're awake or asleep, or at least trying to fall asleep in bed, or hiding underneath the bed, and why in the hell is your head stuck somewhere you don't want it to be? It feels like you're spinning the bottle until it breaks, then gagging bloody shards of glass out of your own mouth. Then the parasitic afterbirth will crawl back inside you for a feast to remove the rest of you. Now you're in the passenger seat, all the billboards drenched with blood and bad dream scenes from your past. You can't see the driver, but he's in control of the vehicle. He tells you to rip apart all your pieces of paper, throw them out the window. All you can see is tiny bits of separated letters flying backwards, flying away, landing on roadkill. An abandoned kitten being devoured and spit out, and you can't save it. You don't even know where you, oh, sorry, I missed one. And you can't save it. Your sense of direction is a mess. You'll never retrieve yourself. You don't even know where you are anymore or how you got here. Your words are gone. stuck inside another abandoned mixtape. All right, I have two more. This one came from a little quote off of a poet friend of mine on Facebook, Jonathan S. Baker, and his quote was, "She was a stroke victim that all she could say was, 'there,' like she was trying to console you." And the poem is called Word Paralysis. But what if she was trying to console her own brain? Transfer her damaged parts out of the ether or any place other than stuck inside her head? What if she was trying to promote herself to herself, praying that another word would emerge one day, instead of just there? She wanted to remember her name. She could feel it inside her head, but it wouldn't come out. She could see its general length, but didn't know how to say it. Her syntax was running backwards. The speech therapist yelled at her for getting upset that she couldn't express herself the way she used to. She was supposed to feel lucky. She was still alive and not just a puddle of drool dripping down an unnameable face, not entirely paralyzed. She wants to let others know how she feels, but she can't get the words out. She wants to ask if this will be temporary or permanent, but before she comes anywhere close to revealing her words, everyone else has left, and she still can't explain where she is. She can't recall the word of the room she's in. An emaciated kitchen, a tiny shutter, a stuttering shudder, an intersection with you. Who are you? Where is she? On a sectional couch in her least favorite color, which she can't remember the word for either. A moldy purple bathroom, a lonely gray bedroom, broken closet door which stays locked shut from the inside. Is she still there? There? Will she be trapped there forever? A nebulous cumulonimbus cloud stuck in her head, space slightly askew, like some sort of unnamed internal war zone. Imposter of herself within herself. Okay, this is the last one. Thanks for listening to me. This is called Intrusive Obsession. Hiding in the background, then quietly limping to the side of my peripheral vision, then suddenly racing towards me. Screaming internally, then constricting my throat with heaves and gasps and compulsions, every membrane screaming, obsessive images about how men, like cream pie dripping down younger women's thighs, and I'm a boring middle-aged woman his age. Saggy breasts and a heart instead of just a vagina that is going to explode like a Ouija board strobe light inside my brain. This obsession won't stop until my head splatters on the wall.
Thank you so much to Juliet, Steve, Josh, Jen, Tim, Ed Cooner, Sean, Joe Hoppy. Joe Hoppy, we're going to take a 10-minute break. Then we're going to come back. We have another great lineup, including Althea. We've got Miles, Patrick, Ryan, Carrie, Leslie, Dan, and Michelle. It's going to be a good one. Stick around. Go get some food. Go pee. Please go pee. And take care of yourself, and we'll see you at about 10. Closing set. No, it's something else. I have to go. It was, that's lovely. I really
Everybody does, but you was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Did you like Miles' bio?
No, but you
saying great.